Hello, it's Nikki, and welcome to a brand new week and another day of trying to figure out winter lighting. Just when I think that I am in full view, it either goes pitch black because the sun goes in or I'm blinded. So bear with me. You don't have to look at my face. I know this is a visual platform whilst I'm doing it, but just feel free to play this in the background because today on this goal setting Monday, I want to talk about, or rather ask you, what do you want? So I am recording this on Black Friday and today is the 29th of November. And I woke up this morning to a barrage of emails and discounts and buy this and uncover the code. And are you spending this weekend because we'll send you these extra points? Like, it's all a lot. And my son was asking about it and why it happens, and do I think, he was asking great questions actually, do I think it's something worth doing? Is it something that I partake in? I don't think he used the word partake, but anyway. And I was talking mainly in that it's great if it's something you were going to buy anyway. So electricals or jewelry or something that is maybe of a higher tier, but equally, like I love a 50p off something as well, and I think sometimes people feel pressure at this time of year, and also people might be asking you, what do you want for Christmas? What's on your wish list? Can I get you anything? And immediately we can be drawn to stuff because that is probably the most obvious thing that people will recognize. And some people don't mind giving money or a voucher or an experience. But I also want to hold this space for you of asking for more of what you actually want. So you might want a lipstick, or I don't know, a new handbag, or there's 3 books that you've seen that you would really like to have a read of, or you'd like to have a ticket to go and see a show in town, which is in your local town, whatever it might be. But today, I want to encourage you to maybe make that wish list of stuff. And this also doesn't have to have a deadline on it. You know, it's like, oh, well, I only want this stuff if I can get it by December. Sometimes things are going to take a little bit longer. Sometimes they might stay there for 6 months while you save up. But because I'm a coach, I want to go deeper, more than the stuff, and really get you thinking about where you go next, and to be very deliberate and discerning about it. Grab a piece of paper and a pen, because I would love you to note down some ideas that might come to mind. The first thing, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel, maybe in this Christmas period, but also into next year? Maybe fast forward a year from now. What's changed? How are you living your life? And one of the things that I've really noticed this year is I'm with my kids a lot. And so I'm often like on that track of either getting them into school or getting them home, or we need to go to the shop, or like I feel like I'm in that go, go, go. Unless it's like a family day where we can sit down and have a cup of tea and it's kind of purposeful. But people I bump into on the school run or in the street or in the supermarket, it's very polite, the conversation that we're having. And it can be very much like, oh, I'm tired, or I'm busy, or I'm overwhelmed, or I'm here, there, and everywhere. That's a phrase that I use a lot. And actually, when I'm thinking about how do I want to feel going into this next year, there are lots of other adjectives that I'd like to try on and experiment with. And that's not to say you're going to bump into me in the street and I'm going to go, hi, I'm fantastic. Life is great. I'm not going to be that annoying person either. But I also want to make sure that I have something to say that people are having a good experience of me. And so really thinking about how I want to feel, and also, you know, how I want to feel in public, but also making sure I'm carving out that time for myself privately. How do I want to feel in that moment? How do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning? How do I want to feel when I go to sleep? How do I want to feel in work situations or with my children or my partner or all of these things? Really thinking about how I want to feel. There's a great book called The Firestarter Sessions, which I would highly recommend. I have it on my shelf over there, and I read it years ago, and I've come back to it again and again. And Danielle Laporte's work, she is the author of it. And her podcast is great as well, just to get things moving and whirring and juicing up in your head about how you want to feel. Because otherwise what we can do is everything just becomes a bit run of the mill. And sometimes there are times where we don't have capacity for anything else, and we have to give ourselves grace and kindness during that time. But equally, there may be things that you might be able to change. So I will leave that book recommendation. Let me just note it down below so you can have a look. Next, people. How do you want to spend your time with people? What do you want to be doing? Are there people who are in your life that you think, gosh, I love spending time with that person, but we just got too busy and I haven't seen them for ages and I must call that person? Or I never replied to that message, or I said that I was going to do that and then I couldn't make it and then I never rearranged, and now 6 months has gone by and I really must do that. I am so discerning about who I spend my time with. And that's not to say you can only be your 10 out of 10 version of yourself and bring your whole self to the table. Otherwise, I'm just not interested. What I'm talking about are those people who don't give anything. And you come away feeling really, well, it's the phrase, the radiators or the drains. And you come away and you feel really deflated. Maybe they don't see you for who you are. And you just kind of have that flatness when you leave of, I don't know what the point of that was. And I would really recommend you thinking about what you want to put a stop on going forward, because you only have limited time and space and energy. And so unless you take control of your calendar, the people that you spend time with, nobody else is going to do it for you. And those people might be so happy to see you on a regular basis because you give so much, and they go away going, wow, this is great, I feel really topped up. And they're not the people that you want in your life. You want that reciprocal, lovely back and forth feeling. Number whatever it is. How do you want to spend your time? I've always been very clear about this in my own business, that I am a hard worker. I really love getting stuff done. I love being on it. I love creating, but I also really love downtime. Nothing in the diary, pottering around. I like doing basic things where I get to have a long run sometimes, or I can go to the shop or make an extra nice dinner that particular night. I love my local area that I can go and get like different things from different shops and take my time. I also just like being in the garden or reading, or, you know, all those kind of quiet activities. And they really fuel me again. They really give me some energy back. So I want you to think about how you want to spend your time. And I also know that in order to spend the time that I have wisely, I've got to spend the time when I'm working or I'm on really effectively. Because if I am not focused when I'm working, if I'm faffing about, there's no point really, because otherwise that task is just going to take longer and longer and longer. I want you to think about how you want to spend your time now and next year. Next, money. What would you like money for? And really give your money a purpose and really think about it seriously. It's so easy and tempting just to say, I want to make more of it. I want to make more money this year. Great. Next step, get into the detail. What does that look and feel like? How are you making it? How could you make it? Get into the creative process. Don't just say, I'd like more money and hope for the best and put it out into the universe. Great, the universe might hear you, but you then have to take some kind of action as well. So I want you to get into those details. What do you need the money for? Maybe there's something in your business that is not clicking or sticking at the moment, and you think, yeah, I would really like some help with that. Or maybe it's a cleaner in your house, or maybe you want to spend a date night once a month with your partner, and you want to really put aside some money to go and have a lovely dinner somewhere. That's something that I would like to do, actually. There are so many great restaurants, not only near us, but in London as well, and the UK. And Matt and I have managed to have a couple of nights away, or one night away rather, at a wedding this year. And it was great, just sitting on a train together, having a chat. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Places and spaces. I would love to take my kids on a big holiday next year. I am really craving, and I've done it much more this year. I've left my house way more. And this has slightly been an age and stage of life, as in, my kids are a bit older now, so being able to travel has been easier. Also, I'm less tired. I'm less beside myself. There were 7 years where I didn't sleep and I was just really running on empty. And so sometimes it was just easier to stay at home rather than going somewhere, setting up a camp and thinking, right, so they're not going to sleep in this house either. And I'm just going to be awake and I'm going to be in somebody else's house or unknown surroundings. And yeah, I couldn't see the wood for the trees. But this year, I've really began to leave my postcode, to be out and about in the world. Also, there was COVID. So I really want to go further afield this year and see what's possible and go on some big adventures. I'm really excited for that. Equally, there are other things that I would love to do with my kids. And some of them are very kind of, I want to start watching box sets with my 9-year-old. I think he's a bit young for Friends, but I would like it one day if he maybe got into that. I was going to say Sex and the City. No, and that is probably not a mother and son opportunity. But we started watching The Royal Family and various other things. And one thing that I feel really pleased about is this year we've really made space on a Saturday night for it to feel different. So we often have a different kind of dinner. We all eat together. We have a Saturday night pudding, and all of these sort of little things that help mark out the week. And I like those punctuations in there. 2 final things. Transformation. What are the transformations that you are looking for this year? And first and foremost, I just want you to get into the what. What do you want to transform? You don't have to even get into the how, but I want you to be really clear about what do you want to transform next year. Secondly, before again we get into the how, I want you to ask yourself why. Why do I want this? Why is this important to me? Why can this not, it can't go on anymore? Enough is enough. And really almost pump it up like a balloon so it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're like, okay, this is what it is. Because eventually you might have that pop and it's like, okay, there we go. Now we begin. Now I start. Now let's get going. And transformation and being clear about what that is and why it's important is always a great starting point. It's also a very powerful stance because you're operating from that need to get it done rather than being disempowered and somebody marketing to you and going, you need this, you need that. And sometimes it's useful because you're like, oh, I do need this. But sometimes we can feel like we ought to, or we should, or maybe, or perhaps. And actually, if you start with the transformations that you want to get behind, it's a much more powerful position to be in. Finally, I've put the soul goals, the fun, the contentment, this just feels really great. Your you moments, you know what I mean. The things that make you feel fantastic, and also the things that might get waylaid on the to-do list and slide down your priority list because somehow you have to do all the practical things first. And I really want to help you make space for those soul things, and really setting things up, and that in a sort of grounding, comforting, or whatever your adjective is that you're looking for, you're feeling. One of the things that I've done this year is I've bought loads of houseplants, and they're everywhere. And they've really brought our house to life. And I love noticing them, seeing what's happening, trying different places and in the house. And I've got loads of lovely pots. And it's been a really enjoyable hobby. And next year, after nearly 3 years of being here, I'm going to tackle the garden. It's not kind of terrible or anything like that, but I'm really going to think, okay, what do we want to do with this? What is this all about? What could we do here, and get excited about it once again. I hope that's been useful. I hope that's got the creative juices flowing and some ideas bubbling. I would love to hear more. If you want some help with goal setting, maybe you're thinking about your business, go to Jam and Plan. I would love to help and support you. And equally, if you're wanting to do a work with me session, a strategy session, send me a message, or you can just go ahead and book via my website. Lots of love. Bye.